To model the feet and the construction as below, we can start with adding a plane. The plane dimensions we would like to set to x 1.5 inches and y 1 inch. Apply the scale, very good. Then we go to edit mode. Make sure the face is selected. And then we can go to extrude. Extrude this one up. Hold Control and we can snap actually to this corner point. You can see it extrudes it right up 5 inches. Very good. In case this does not work for you for snapping, you just extrude it a little bit as you want. Go to face, snap to the face, or you simply, let me undo the step, you can press the extrude command and then override this by 5 inches. So you see multiple ways all leading to the same result. Now to make this leg look a little bit nicer, we go to Edge Select. Then maybe wireframe will be easier to see. Let me go to Move, select this back line, bring this back, and there we can see the numbers popping up for the perpendicular edge, and we want this to be 2.5. So press Escape. This is 1.5, so this should be 2.5. That means we need to select this edge and move it over by -1. Okay. Very nice. This line looks pretty good. This, however, is pretty boring because it's perpendicular. So let's select both. And then we move this back maybe by -1 inch. This is too much, -0.5 inch. This looks pretty good. Okay. I hope you see also how I try in general to work with very easy to remember values like 1 inch, ½ inch, quarter inch, the same like in metric. It helps really working kind of like in these steps because things are not having random numbers when you need to adjust them later. It's easy to understand your design and maybe by how much you move, for example, something when we would measure everything. Okay, so let's go to object mode and shaded mode. We will rotate this by 45 degrees. Let's go to a bottom view. This is right at the center. The box is 16 by 16, so this is a square, which means we can select our foot, go to the transformation orientation, set this to local, and then from below I move this over and zoom in a little bit. And I would like this for the idea just to be lined up right at this corner point. Okay. Then before I continue adding details, let's explore this idea, this arrangement a little bit more. So we add a mirror modifier for X, Y and use the frame as the mirroring object. Now, seeing everything from this point makes me realize, well, that angle needs to be stronger. So this edge and this edge I will bring over maybe by another ½ inch. Let's see in object mode how this looks. This is more interesting, more dynamic. Okay, very good. After having decided now on this configuration, now it is time maybe to add more details. So for example, the rounding for the foot here. So we select all these edges. We will go to the edge data, type in 1, go to bevel, 0.25 inches, 10 segments, limit is weight. This looks pretty good. Maybe we can set this 0.5. No, this is too round, 2.5. I meant 0.25. Very nice. Right click in object mode, shade smooth. And we need to fix the shading. We go to object data, normals, auto smooth. That's perfect. Let's do one last check. We look from below and we can zoom in a little bit more. And now we can just slide this a tick further. And yeah, there we are. This looks good. Okay, so we have decided on our legs to help them being less fragile. We could connect them with a screw, but one hefty push on the side stand from the side or the front might make everything break. So we need more cross support. We can easily do this by adding another plane, or actually plane or cube. Let's go with a cube. Along the z-axis, we want this to be 2 inches. Along the y-axis, that's going to be the thickness, 0.5 inches. So the same material thickness like the rest of the basket. It's also a good idea to always have similar thicknesses. That makes a person who has to construct something have it a little bit easier. We can go to Edge Select, move this up, hold Control key, and release the mouse. Okay, let me show this one more time. So click on the Z-axis, hold the mouse, drag, hold Control, release the mouse. There we are. Okay. Now I will bring this over, try to figure out, does this look good? Yeah, this is nice. So what's the distance from here to here? Well, that's easy to figure out. We first line up our object with the front edge. Okay. Now I can slide this in and also pay attention to the top and see how much do I move this in. So 1 inch and a little bit. Let's overwrite this. 1 inch. Okay, that looks good. How is the rest of everything here? Maybe let's go to wireframe mode. Okay, so this crossbar sits on the face cleanly, so not over a rounded part. That's ideal. That's very good. Now we would like these edges to be flush with these faces. That's also very easy to do. We will go to Edit Mode, Face Select, select this face, go to Shear, click on the correct icon. This is Shear 1. So I pressed 1 and Enter, and here this is -1, press Enter, or here I change this afterwards, meaning I shear this a little bit and then -1. To help myself with a little bit of work, this is the x-axis, so let's turn on x. For mirroring, bring this over. There you see, super nice. We have edge select, click and drag, hold the control key, snap to this lower edge of my leg. There we are. Cool. Object mode. We want to make sure our scale is applied. One little check for face. That's all good. Now, this can be mirrored over. And there we are. Along the y-axis in this case. Sweet. And also the x-axis. But there's no result. Actually, that's not true. It is there. It's just mirroring over here to the other side, so the right side. Because it's perfectly centered to the center, you have two objects there. So what we have to do to fix this is we have one copy which we mirror over along y. And I'm going to show you now another function of this 3D cursor. And why we have here also 3D cursor too. So go to transform pivot point, set this to 3D cursor. And you noticed how the 3D widget jumped to where that 3D cursor is. I will select my main object here. The point is still nicely centered. So Shift S cursor to selected. Then I select this, go object and make myself a linked duplicate, so a clone. I switch into move command, press escape so we don't move it. Go to rotate. And I do not rotate here because I'm rotating this way the object. I want to rotate this object around the pivot point, which I set here to be the 3D cursor. There I can rotate it and type in 90 and enter. Orientation. So let's say we do it this way. So let's type in 90. Yeah, okay, no? Works too. But yeah, where is the other copy? It's also at the same position, and that is simply because it goes along the y-axis. So turn y off, and in this case, turn x on. There we are. Pretty cool. Now, this we can call foot. And this cube is foot support. And this is also foot support. I give it the same name because there's already one. It will be renamed into .001. Right click, new collection, feet, and then I can select these three, click and drag them in there. Very good. So now we have our construction the main frame actually sits on.